Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the penultimate live stream of the season. Very sad times, or very happy times if you've not had a good season, but thank you for being here. As always, I appreciate it. Thank you to all of the regulars. I'm just seeing, it's just the same people every single week turning up, whether they're having a good week or a bad week. We have Nana Raptor in the chat. We have my wonderful mum as well, of course. We have Shazam, the main man, Claudette. Good to see you. Good to see you as well, Josh. We've got Cosmic. I appreciate all the support recently, Cosmic. We've got Sim, the absolute legend. Good to see all the mods in the chat. Ashley, thank you for being here as well. Let's just jump into it. Let's waste no time at all. Hello, everyone. Does anyone know what happens to your players on club after the season ends? So you're going to be able to negotiate to keep some of them in club. We'll discuss that at the end of the stream, but yeah. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but basically they'll give you a certain amount of budget. You'll be able to pick a couple. I think you're going to try and bring down their wages slightly kind of thing and then work out who you can keep for next year. So, yes, you'll keep some players, but not all of your players in club. Hey, Ross, how's life treating you? Life treating me well, to be honest, thanks. I'm very busy away from FPL and YouTube, to be honest. I've got my PhD. I'm wrapping that up ahead of the summer. And I've also been really focusing on my health. And I'm on a massive diet at the moment. So I have lost, I want to say over 5 kilos. 5.2 kilos. And I've put on a bit of muscle as well. So I reckon it's more like 6 to 7 kilos of fat I've lost. And then I've probably put on about 1 kilo of muscle, I would hope. So yeah, I've just been focused on that. Doing the PhD. Getting myself in shape, trying to finish the season as strong as I can. But yeah, I'm well. I hope you're all doing well too. And yeah, let's just jump into it. Make sure you get your questions in the chat. In terms of my plans for this stream, in terms of my team, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'll be entirely honest. I want to buy one of GeoGuessr or Trossard. The Trossard transfer is the easiest. I can just do Rodgers to Trossard and bench Calvert-Lewin or Cherky, or something like that. But I do want GeoGuessr, and I do think GeoGuessr is just better than Trossard, but it does require a move to downgrade Rodgers to Engamoa and upgrade Calvert-Lewin to GeoGuessr, which then leaves me in a position where I've got one less transfer. I have a weaker player for Gameweek 38 that just has to sit on the bench. It's not ideal, basically, but yeah, I'll have a bit of a think. Brighton FPL says, good luck, Ross. Gone KDH captain, and I'm 19 points behind. First in my mini league, and our teams are similar. They won't have Dewsbury Hall. Full send. Any plans for World Cup fantasy? I love to hear that. That is. Yeah. Do you know? I love it when people go for it. Like, at least you can't say that you left anything on the table. So I actually think Dewsbury Hall is a great option this week as well. In terms of World Cup fantasy, yes, there will be a World Cup fantasy. Let me just do this. 2 seconds. Oh, my keyboard's died. That's not ideal. I'll just, because I need to screen mirror to show you, basically. Will that work? Yeah, World Cup Fantasy, guys. You might have seen it in my video today. What am I looking for here? Where's what I need? Is it that? It is that. Yeah, World Cup Fantasy. Club are doing a World Cup Fantasy, so I'm going to be continuing to play Club. And basically, if you just click on this, you'll see. I think it's announced today, as of today, on their social media, 25th of May. So basically, just after the Prem ends, it's going to transition into a World Cup game. So on the left, you can see a screen recording of me playing it live, and then there's some screenshots on the right of what the World Cup Fantasy might look like. So yes, I'm playing World Cup Fantasy. It will be Club. There is a link down below in the description if you want to download Club and play World Cup Fantasy. I highly recommend it. Right now, it's the Premier League, but in a week, it will transition 9 days, 19 hours. There you go. You can see it there. It will transition to World Cup Fantasy. So, yes, this is going to be the World Cup Fantasy that we're playing. I've just lost everything that I need. My OBS is a state. There we go. Best free hit team this week. Still have my chip. Gabriel, Saka, Gyökeres. I'd probably still have Haaland and Bruno. I'd probably have one of Hinshelwood or Dewsbury Hall as a cheap midfielder. I would probably have Tarkowski and Keane, arguably, alongside Gabriel. And then I'd maybe have Leno in goal. I think that's pretty much all your players. You can obviously fill in the gaps in and around that. Cosmic says, thanks for the mention of support, Ross. No, thank you. You're the one that's supporting me. You're a legend. I really appreciate the content this season. Hope you can get out the season with a bang. I appreciate that very much. Thank you to all of the members, by the way, for your support this season. E. Forbes with the super chat. That's very generous. Thank you. Says, hi, Ross. Thanks for all your content. As always, you are more than welcome. I'm first in my mini league by 30 points. Should be okay. Can't afford Saka or Gyökeres. Do I bring in KDH, Rice, or Trossard, Gabriel, or Bruno Cap? It depends who second in your mini league has. Like, if they've got Dewsbury Hall, Rice, or Trossard, maybe you want to protect a bit. If they've got Saka and Gyökeres, maybe you need to go for it a little bit as well. So that's not an easy question to answer, but I think I would lean just about to Dewsbury Hall. Just about. Although it feels weird not buying Arsenal players this week. But I think if I was not chasing, Dewsbury Hall was quite a nice, safe option for the final 2 weeks. Like, Trossard might be benched in either 37 or 38. So, yeah, maybe you're playing it a bit more safe. Why do you have Gabriel as captain but Haaland making more points? Yeah, good question, Shazam. So the captaincy ranking is personal to me. So the captaincy ranking is how I've ranked the players. The projected points that you can see on the left-hand side of the screen over here is the Fantasy Football Hub projected points. So I always disagree with Fantasy Football Hub, basically. They've got Gabriel second, Saka third, Haaland first. I don't think Haaland's in the top 3 options for captaincy this week. So that's the reason for the difference. Two people asking about my hoodie. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's from River Island. River Island have done some really nice stuff recently. I used to love River Island. Then I think River Island went downhill and I stopped buying from River Island for like 5-10 years. And then recently they've improved their stuff once again. So I'm back on the River Island hype. Their t-shirts in particular are really nice material. They're quite thick. They sit quite nice. They're a good length. So if you're looking for like a graphic t-shirt, I highly recommend checking out River Island. By the way, guys, for the legends that are here already and getting the streams nice and early, can you please smash that like button and make sure to subscribe? But importantly, because most of you have probably subscribed already, please make sure you're smashing that like button. It just spreads the stream out to more people, basically. I do think Gabriel's the best captain this week for those asking. We can actually run a captaincy poll in a second, but yeah, I would just about lean that way. Captain Trossard or Gabriel? Therefore, I think Gabriel, unless you're chasing, in which case Trossard's a much better captain because Gabriel and Arsenal defence in general were just so highly owned. El Jivers says 2 free transfers. 1, Rice to Saka, captain, and Rodgers to KDH. Or 2, keep Rice, Rodgers to Njai, captain Bruno or Gab, and roll for 38 second free transfer. Oh, that's a tough one. I just think that comes down to who do you want to captain. If you think Saka's the best captain, I don't mind that it takes 2 extra transfers, or an extra transfer, I should say, and that you have to sell Rice. If you think Saka's the guy you want to captain, I would go for that option. If you're not that fussed about Saka captain, you think Bruno's as good, then probably the option where you have 2 free transfers for 38 is maybe marginally better on paper, but only if you need those transfers for 38. It might be that nothing really happens that you feel like you need to use them on. What do you reckon EOs of popular captaincy shouts will be this week? I think Bruno, Haaland, and Gabriel will all be in and around or over 100. Haaland will probably be like 130, 140. Bruno will probably be about 105, 110. And I think Gabriel will shoot up over 100% this week. So if you're not captaining Gabriel, Bruno, and Haaland, you're hoping all 3 of them blank, which is going to be pretty funny. And then I think like Saka will be maybe 80 to 90%. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but yeah, I reckon Saka will get right up there as well. Let's actually run a poll for captaincy. Guys, who are you captaining for Game Week 37? Let me know. Game Week 37 captaincy poll. Gabriel, Saka. I don't know who to put on the list. There's so many captaincy options. I can only put 3, really. Who are the 3 top captains? Because you've got Saka, Gyökeres, Gabriel, Bruno, Haaland. That's already 5. And then there'll be people going for something slightly different as well. How do I do this in terms of a poll? Okay, I'm going to... I hate that, though. You can't group those together. Yeah, and someone's like, put Thiago captain. Gabriel, Saka, Bruno, Haaland. Yeah, but loads of people are going Gyökeres. I guess like that. This is gross. There's no good way to do a captaincy poll this week, I'm afraid. I'll go like that. Sure. Sorry for the gross poll. I just don't know how to do it in terms of like splitting. Anyway. Che Lodge says, I don't have a benching headache. I have a benching migraine. Who to bench out of Bowen, Szoboszlai, Semenyo? Semenyo against his old club. But will he play after the final? Szoboszlai, I really like tonight. Bowen. On pens. Honestly, maybe Semenyo. I guess it depends how much you're chasing. If you're chasing massively, Semenyo's definitely the one to bench. If you're protecting, maybe Szoboszlai, because he's the lowest owned there. And it might hurt your feelings if he does well, but it won't hurt your rank. It really depends what you're trying to achieve, I suppose. And yeah, I like Gabriel. What a nothing poll. What do you want me to do? There's only 4 options, and one has to be other. If you don't have other as an option, then that just ruins the poll because people can't vote for their captain. So then there's only 3 possibilities. Although others only receiving 3%, so maybe in a second we can do another poll. But there's still 5 options at least. If not, maybe 7 or 8 options. It looks like 50% of people are going Saka or Gyökeres, though, so that's good information. Still vote on the poll, and we'll think of a better way to do it. Sento says, 2 free transfers. I have Saka and no Arsenal defence. Okay. Should I use one and buy Trossard or use both and get in MLS as well? Feel like 2 free transfers in 38 could be valuable. You've got no Arsenal defence. Oh, I'd want Gabriel personally, but I guess that's not an option. You've not listed that as an option. I would buy 2 Arsenal. You say 2 free transfers in 38 could be valuable, but in saving your transfers for 38, you're passing up on Arsenal players against Burnley at home. There is no one in Game Week 38 for me that has the same ceiling as Arsenal players against Burnley. So, yeah, listen, if you want to roll transfers, again, they could be valuable. It could be that we get information that like 4 of the main players that you'd pick from are benched. It could be that Arsenal have won the league and therefore they rotate, but it just was like such a good opportunity to have an Arsenal player, I think. Doing a free hit, Hinshelwood, KDH, or Gross? I think Hinshelwood and KDH are both fantastic. Pascal Gross I just don't get. He's not been very good recently. I know he's been scamming a couple of assists, but the guy's not been shooting at all. So I would go Hinshelwood or Dewsbury Hall. Jack, evening Ross. Evening Jack, thank you for being here as always. On Bench Boost this week, 1 free transfer. Would you do Cherky to enjoy or roll and hope for the best? Ooh. If you're chasing, go for it. If you're not chasing and you're sort of happy with where you're at, I would just leave it. I do think Njai is as good, if not slightly better, than Ryan Cherky this week. And at least his minutes are secure. But Ryan Cherky on his day is fantastic. And given that he just had a rest, maybe he starts the last 2 games of the season in the Premier League. So, yeah. Best Everton midfielder. Well, it's definitely Dewsbury Hall or Iliman Ndiaye. I would probably lean Iliman Ndiaye for penalties. And I think recently his goal threat's been a bit better. Sorry for the sniffling. Slightly under the weather. Thiago to Gyökeres or Senesi to Saliba? Probably Senesi to Saliba makes the most sense there. I quite like Thiago this week, so yeah, I'd go Senesi to Saliba. What would be the best free hit team for this game week? We spoke about it already earlier in the stream, but 3 Arsenal, Gabriel, Saka, Gyökeres for me. I would probably have Gyökeres, Thiago, Haaland as the front three. I would probably have one of Hinshelwood or Dewsbury Hall. I'd probably have Bruno. And then I just changed it. So it would be similar to this team, but instead of Calvert-Lewin, Gyökeres, instead of Cherky, I'd have Iliman and Jai. And instead of Munoz and O'Reilly, I'd probably have Tarkowski and Keane. And then I'd have Leno instead of Verbruggen. So I'd change like 5 of my players, I think, on a free hit. Hayden says, I'm ranked 42k. Is playing 2 Brighton defence with Calvert-Lewin too risky? No, not really. I have Hill on the bench and I only have Hill and Gomez on the bench. No, I think that's fine. I think that's absolutely fine because, firstly, your Brighton defence could still get save points. I'm assuming it's Verbruggen, Van Hecke. They can get save points in DEFCON. And Calvert-Lewin is a great asset. So I'd have no issue playing those. Like, you can't always avoid clashes in FPL. I think that's important. Hello, Lukey boy. Good to see you, my friend. I'm thinking it's Captain Thiago, not Saka. I don't hate it. It's just he's attacking... non-pen XG recently, Thiago's been really poor. He's just not getting many chances, but it can always change. Thiago is a bit of a streaky player. We've seen that this season. Would you start Enzo and Keane and roll 1 transfer, or Tark and Hinshelwood, which uses both of my free transfers? Thanks for the great season of content. This is firstly, thank you, James, for the kind words. I think using 1 transfer versus 2 is the big decision for a lot of people, right? Because there's always something you can do to improve your team, but 2 next week would be valuable. So your question is Enzo and Keane and roll 1 transfer, or Tark and Hinshelwood, which uses both of mine? I'm a bit confused what the question is, though. You've got Enzo and Keane. You obviously aren't selling Keane, right? I'm a bit confused. I mean, my ideal combination there would be Keane and Hinshelwood, James. So I'm not really sure who's being sold and bought. I assume you're selling Enzo to Hinshelwood? Maybe? I think Enzo and Keane with 1 free transfer saved is probably better. Hopefully that answered the question. Good day, Ross. Playing my bench boost with Munoz, Hill, Gibbs White, and Darlow on my bench. 1 free transfer. Would you do Gibbs White to Hinshelwood? What was the latest update on Gibbs White? I've not checked because obviously I'm not buying him and don't own him. So let me double check that quickly. As long as Gibbs White is available. Is he available? Guys, what was the latest update on Gibbs White in the press conference? I'd probably be pretty happy to sell Gibbs White then if there's no definitive strong update on him. Money, no issue, Keane or Porro. I honestly think Michael Keane. I think Michael Keane's top 2 or 3 defenders to buy this week. Going back to your question, I don't know what the update was on Gibbs White, but assuming that we haven't had a definitive yes, he's fit, I would probably just buy Hinshelwood. If we do have a definitive he's fit, then I would I'd keep him. He's training with a mask, then I'd probably keep him, you know. As long as you've got cover in case he doesn't feature, you know. Three free transfers. Planning to do Cambo/Rogers to Keane/Njai, but this is to bench Wilson. No, then I don't like that. Do both or only the defensive transfer and roll the other for next week. I would just do just do Cambo to Keane. I don't think Iliman Njai is that much better than Wilson this week. I don't think Wilson's been great recently, by the way, but yeah, I think I would lean towards just sorry. Got distracted. I would lean towards just keeping Wilson and benching and making the defender move. Hinshelwood or Gross? Definitely Hinshelwood for me. Mr. Max, 55 months a member. How's it, guys? Few options. Could do Senesi to Keane, 37, and then Welbeck to Bowen, 38. I like that. Or Aronson to Wilson, 37, and Welbeck to DCL, 38. I like Senesi to Keane and Welbeck to Bowen. Yeah, that's a nice option. Farhad says, chasing 60 points. Bruno, Gabriel, or Bruno G captain. I have triple Arsenal defence and my rival has Gabriel only. He doesn't have Bruno G. He will captain Saka. Okay, you're chasing 60 points. Bruno Gabriel, Bruno G captain. You think he'll cap Saka and he doesn't have Bruno G. Bruno G then. 60 points is a lot of points for Had. So if you're going to go for that. And let's say that's the only thing you care about. You're not thinking about rank, other leagues, just that 60 points. Then you've got to captain the guy that he doesn't own. I think Bruno G is probably the captain for you. Rodgers to Dewsbury Hall if it means benching Bowen. Probably not, to be honest. Probably not. Don't worry, guys. I haven't forgot super chats. I'm just working my way slowly through them so that I can still answer the regular chat as well. Verts to Saka or Evan Nilsson to Gyökeres? Ooh, both. I know you can't do both. Evan Nilsson to Gyökeres, I think. Yeah, Evan Nilsson to Gyökeres. Any news on Calafiori? Just that he's a doubt for Monday, but not fully ruled out. So if you've got him, keep him and start him. I wouldn't be buying Calafiori this week. Hit for Saka. Maybe. Sarr and Watkins out. No money for Osula, so Beto. So Beto and Saka in for Sarr and Watkins. I would go for it, yeah. Only if you're going to captain Saka, actually. I probably wouldn't bother if you're not going to captain him. If you're not going to captain Saka, just buy a Trossard or a Manenjai or something like that. Mr. J, good to see you as always, my friend. Says, hey, bud, I'm 20 points clear of my mini league leader. Sorry, I'm 20 points clear of my mini league. One free transfer. Should I bring in Saka for Palmer, then either Gyökeres for Pedro or Van Hecke for Gabriel, or just one free transfer? Yeah, I probably wouldn't be taking a hit. Although no Gabriel's not great. And I would prefer Gyökeres to João Pedro. I still probably wouldn't take a hit. I would probably just do Saka in for Palmer and leave it there. Yeah, I think I'd just do the one transfer, Jay. Because you make a second transfer for a -4, then it's only 16 points. You still don't own the ideal 3 Arsenal, so it could start to get a bit dicey. Will Nico O'Reilly start? I don't know because I've not seen the final, right? So just as a recap, the FA Cup final's on Saturday. I can't promise you what's going to happen on the Tuesday in the Premier League after that until I've seen the FA Cup. So my gut instinct tells me yes now, which is why I've got him in the team, but who knows? Have one free transfer. Sarr to Njai or Munoz to Tarkovsky? Sarr to Njai, probably. Adwait says, hello, Ross. On Bench Boost, 3 free transfers. Have triple Arsenal, Mukiele, Keane, Anderson, Tarko, Dubravka, Pickford. This or keep Mukiele and sell one of Sarr, Rodgers for Njai, KDH, Njai, or Soboslai. Oh, you're saying Mukiele to Keane, Anderson to Tarko, Dubravka to Pickford. I thought you were just listing players. So you're buying triple Everton defence. This will keep Mukiele and sell one of Sarr or Rodgers. I probably like the idea of buying 2 Everton defenders and then one of Dewsbury Hall, Iliman and Jai. So I would probably lean that way. Let's say I would do... Yeah, Anderson. I would honestly do Anderson to Keane, Dubravka to Pickford, and then probably Morgan Rodgers to Dewsbury Hall and Jai. Something like that, Adwait. Hayden says, me again. Who should I captain out of Saka and Gabriel? Heart says Saka, mine says Gabriel. With rank, is it safer to go Saka or a punt on Gabriel? Okay. I honestly think that both of them will be pretty similar. I reckon Saka at about 101. No, Saka 95% is my guess. Gabriel 110. Considering Gabriel is also part of an Arsenal defence that's very highly... I'd probably say Gabriel is the safer rank captain, basically.
Oh, are you starting Munoz? I wanted to, but I'm too scared.
João Pedro to Gyökeres -4. Just about no. We've not got very good ranks, so there's no point being scared. Whoa. Crazy.
Did you see my message? The filler things by the...
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they must have a spot. Anyway, hello everyone. Not that they can... I can't see their comments, but...
You're mumbling like a mouse, so they're not going to be able to hear you.
Tell them I said hello.
She said hello. Sorry, guys. Just had a... Yep, that was the pickle. Had a little invasion from the pickle. Irfan says, hello, Ross. Chasing top 10k. Very nice. Good position to be in. 18k at the moment. On bench boost. Don't know what to do. Willing to take a -4/1 free transfer. Okay. So what stands out here? You've got Trossard. You've got Gabriel. Dubravka's not ideal. I don't know how much money you've got in the bank. Rookie mistake not mentioning that in your super chat. You know? That's the sort of info I need to be able to advise you. I also just want to see what Mane's minutes have been like. I have absolutely no idea. Mane's minutes have been good. I'd probably keep Mane, then that's not a huge issue. Honestly, Dubravka's the biggest issue, and Senesi. So Senesi to Keane and Dubravka to a better goalkeeper probably feels like it's worth it. You don't have to make the Senesi to Keane move unless you need that to fund Dubravka to someone else. Honestly, Dubravka to Darlow might be your best bet. It's a bit boring, but Dubravka's not going to get a big score, is he?
Try it.
Okay.
It's really nice.
You can leave me a bit then, thank you.
Well, I bought 2. So.
Okay.
No, I'm not leaving you any.
Jamie says 3 free transfers and chasing. Okay, Munoz, Gross, Rogers to Saka, captain, Keane and Hinshelwood to bench JP, or Munoz and Rogers to Trossard, captain, and Keane, play João Pedro, have 2 free transfers in 38. Thanks. I don't know if my brain's just not braining or if that was the most complicated thing to try and process. 3 free transfers. Munoz, Gross, Rogers to Saka, Keane, Hinshelwood. Firstly, I like that a lot, but I don't love benching João Pedro, although I have seen a lot of Chelsea fans start to worry about João Pedro's minutes after the final, so maybe worth doing. Or Munoz and Rogers to Trossard, captain, and Keane, play João Pedro and have 2 free transfers in 38. I would go for the Saka captain. I'd use all 3 transfers, Jamie, and I'd go for the Saka captain, personally. Yeah, just about. It's a tough one, though. Not an easy decision. Agnibar, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Says, hello, Ross. Hello, I've got your team. 2 free transfers, 2.3 in the bank. Sacked off rank for this season, looking to attack for fun. Suggestions. Okay, same position as me then, right? Let's say, right, I like your defence. For Bruggen, Gabriel, Riley, Van Hecker, don't need to change there. Bruno, Saka, Cherky, Soboslai, Haaland, DCL, Thiago. I think Cherky to Dewsbury Hall and Calvert-Lewin to Gyökeres is a fun set of moves. If you can afford that, I think you can with 2.3 million in the bank. But that's obviously that's really just having fun with it, right? But yeah, Cherky to Dewsbury Hall and Thiago to... Sorry, Calvert-Lewin to Gyökeres. The only issue is then who do you bench? You probably have to bench Thiago or Soboslai or something like that. It's a shame you can't afford... I don't think you can afford Calvert-Lewin up to Gyökeres, can you? No, you won't be able to. Okay, either that option, Agnibar, that I just said, but then you've got a benching headache, or just do Cherky to Trossard. Yeah, Cherky to Trossard. Or even Tavernier. Tavernier to Trossard, by the way. I didn't even see Tavernier on your bench as an option as well. Or the double move. Giandre says, on captaincy, part 1, if Arsenal go 2-0 up, they might play it safe as they only need to win, which makes Gabriel a good pick. Part 2, if they are 3-0 up at half-time, they might chase goal difference and keep Saka Gyökeres on for longer, which makes them good options. I think Arsenal will be viewing it as they don't need goal difference if they win their final 2 games. So I think they're going to be much more interested in just getting 6 points in the last 2 games. I would lean towards your first narrative more, that if Arsenal go 2 or 3 goals up, I think they start resting the big guns, like Saka, Gyökeres. I don't think Gabriel, but I don't think they'll be chasing goal difference here. I think they'll just try and win the game, which will probably involve them also improving their goal difference, by the way. But yeah. Is Rio at Liverpool bad pick? I just don't know if it will start, is the issue. We'll have a look at a second in a second at the predictions. That might give us a bit more information. Yeah. If he starts, he's fine. I'm probably going to buy him this week, but I will have him third on my bench probably. Currently tied top in my mini league, my rival having Wilson. The player in third is 31 behind us, but also has Wilson. I previously loved option 1, 2. Sorry, Max, I have to look at your previous message because I forgot. I'm currently tied in top of my league with rival having Wilson. The player in third is 31 behind us, but also has Wilson. I see what you mean. Yeah. I just think the Senesi to key move looks good to me. I guess it's up to you how much you want to play mind games and play with the people around you, or if you just want to try and maximize and get the most points you can. Maybe Wilson's the one. I don't know. I'll let you decide that one. I guess at the end of the day, it depends if you think Wilson will get points. Rogers, Thiago to Rio and Rio. Who's RYO? Should I know who that is? Is that a typo for Gyökeres? Is there a striker that is RYO? That must be meant to be Geo, right? Rogers and Thiago to Rio and Gyökeres. That's what I'm looking at. Or use Rogers, Munoz, Thiago to get Saka, Hill, Krupi. No. I think Rogers and Thiago to Rio and Gyökeres, if that's what you're asking. Kai, I think, is the way that I would go. Tuna19 says, need a defender max 7. Senesi, Virgil as block in my mini league, 8 points ahead, or play my own game. With only 8 points is nothing in a mini league. Like 8 points can be made up with one person scoring a goal and getting bonus. So I would play your own game for now, and I would probably go for an Everton defender. I think Michael Keane's a nice option. Earthcan says 3.7 in the bank. Okay, I'll go back to your message now that I know that, Earthfan. 3.7 in the bank. In that case... So how many Arsenal did I say you had? Just Gabriel. You'd probably do just Dubravka to Raya. Yeah, I'd probably honestly just do Dubravka to Raya with 3.7 in the bank, Earthfan. Josh says, sell Tavernier or Gross to Casemiro, 12 points from top 100k. I'd be okay to do that, Josh, as well, considering you're a Man United fan as well, even more so. Yeah, I think Tavernier to Casemiro looks nice. Liverpool have more motivation to play better football. Villa might be close. Yeah, I mean, you can paint whatever narrative you want, to be fair. Whatever you believe. Currently benching Hinshelwood for Cherky. No. I would rather bench Cherky, personally. I love Hinshelwood. And Leeds have a lot of defensive injuries. If you didn't see the quotes from Farker, it wasn't looking good. It's not looking good, Brev. So I'm a bit of a Hinshelwood fanboy, though, but I would start Hinshelwood over Cherky. Mosquera or Lewis Skelly? Probably Lewis Skelly's minutes feel a little bit more secure, just about. On bench boost, bench looks okay. Henderson, Rodon, Dango, Virgil. And you've got one free transfer, and you're looking at Bermo to Saka, Chow/Virgil to Saliba. I don't think you need to do Chow/Virgil to Saliba. I think both Chow and Virgil are really nice. 2 million in the bank. Dango to Rice and keep Bermo. I think Bermo to Saka's good. I think trust your initial instinct on that. Yeah, and Bermo to Saka. Hope you're good, G. Eze or Rogers out for Harry Wilson. I am well, thank you, and probably not. I don't mind Wilson, but the minutes haven't been good. That would be my main worry, right? I want to make sure I'm not making that up. Just from memory, I just feel like I keep seeing him get subbed off. Yeah. I mean, they have. They were great up until the last two. But Fulham have been playing really badly, and he got 63, 61. And the output's been pretty poor as well. Since game week 29, he's only got 1 goal and 0 assists. So, maybe. I'm not too bothered going there this week, personally. If you didn't see the start of the stream, by the way, guys, cheeky little shout out to club. Lots of people still asking about World Cup Fantasy. And yes, I will be playing World Cup Fantasy. And I will be playing the club World Cup Fantasy game. So this is like a club ownership meets fantasy football game. If you've not heard me talk about it before, little screen recording right now. I'm just mirroring my phone. So this is the Premier League version. You build a team. You can meet with your agent. You can collect cash. You can upgrade your stadium as well. You will recognize this guy here too. But once the Premier League ends, it's going to transition into a World Cup fantasy game. So what you should do is download Club now, completely free, start collecting gems, get to grips with the game, and then be prepped for the World Cup. Because you see these gems that I've got 616 that I've been collecting just through the daily free deals. So you can collect 15 a day down here, just building them up, and they'll be useful for the World Cup. So give Club a download if you want to play World Cup Fantasy. It'll be going live on the 25th of May, which is exciting. We've got a super chat from user ID. It says 3 free transfers, 0.2 million in the bank. Munoz to Saliba and Gross/Wilson to Dewsbury Hall. 11. Good team. Top of my mini league and 9 points. What would you do? Munoz to Saliba's good. You can't afford Munoz to Saliba unless you downgrade Gross or Wilson to KDH, can you? Maybe that's why you're asking that. I don't love that transfer, though. Do you know what I honestly probably prefer? Do I? I honestly just wonder about Munoz to Tarkowski and leave it there. I don't think Gross or Wilson to KDH is a massive upgrade. I would be tempted to just do Munoz to Tarkowski or Keane, or if you want an Arsenal defender, Lewis Skelly. I don't think Saliba's worth taking 2 transfers for. Saliba to Keane, Rodgers to Saka captain. Is that a good move, Ross? Thanks for the help. I don't love selling Saliba. I understand it's to buy Saka captain. If you really want to captain Saka, then I don't hate it. Do we carry players over into the World Cup? As far as I'm aware, no. The only thing that you'll carry over to the World Cup from club is gems. So you won't carry cash and coins, but you will carry cash and coins over to the next Premier League season. So basically, what I would be doing over the next week on club is just collecting gems, coins, and cash. And just finishing off the season, basically. Gems in particular. Chances that Dorgu starts? I've got no idea. Man United's 11 is really difficult. Like, normally I'd feel really comfortable predicting Man United's 11, but let's have a look at the predictions from Emma. So Arsenal, 100% think Gyökeres will start, 86% think Trossard, 100% think Saka. Worryingly, 43% are expecting Eze to start. And the way that this is structured, basically, is the best predictors are on the left. So best to worst. You can see that apart from the second best, the other 4 in the top 5 all think Eze will be benched. Which is worrying if you have Eze. So, yeah, there's that. Trossard at 86% is good, though, if you want to buy Trossard. What other teams did we want? Brighton. Someone randomly thinks Milner's going to start rather than Pascal Gross. That's funny. But yeah, the Brighton lineup fairly straightforward. Chelsea, does anyone care? Maybe. Palmer and João Pedro. There was only 3 people predicted the Chelsea team, though, so that's not a particularly good sample. Liverpool, a big prediction. We've got Rio Ngamara at 53%, so he could start tonight. You never know. Isak down at 37. What else do we have? Man United, this is good. So Dorgu, what have we got Dorgu at here? 0%. There you go. I wouldn't have him as low as that, but I guess no one's predicted him to be in the 11. Someone's predicted Lacey to get a start. It's crazy. Someone's predicted Sesko to get a start as well. Any other teams we want? Newcastle, Spurs, not really. Okay. Hey Ross, brought in Iliman and Jai. Which two should I bench out of O'Reilly, João Pedro, Virgil, Cherky, Chow, Wilson? Top 1k and panicking. Top 1k. Wow. Okay, who wouldn't I bench there? I don't think I'd bench Wilson or Chow. Part of me just says bench your two City players, but I don't love that either. I think Virgil van Dijk I'd be okay benching. And so then it's one of O'Reilly, Cherky, or João Pedro. Probably João Pedro. Probably João Pedro and Virgil. And back Man City. Maybe. Do I think Spurs will keep João Pedro out, though? Not really. That's a tough one. Top 1k, I mean, continue doing whatever you've done to this point. The only one there that doesn't scare me benching is probably Virgil. Erling Haaland to Gyökeres captain, Semenyo to Saka captain, Rodgers to Njai, 2 free transfers. I think Semenyo to Saka and Rodgers to Njai I like as a set of 2 transfers. I think I will go for those ones. Hello, Egg. Been chasing like you and it's not gone well recently. Yeah, that's the thing. When you chase, it can go quite badly. 3 free transfers, 1.5 million in the bank. Tavernier to Trossard. Okay, or Welbeck and Lacroix to Gyökeres and Keane to bench Van Hecke. I would lean Tavernier to Trossard because I think Van Hecke's great and I think Welbeck's great. And I don't love Tavernier right now. So unless you really want to captain Gyökeres, I would go for the Tavernier to Trossard punt. Bruce says, on bench boost this week, would you sell one of Tavernier or Cherky this week? If so, who to buy? 2 free transfers available and happy with the rest of the team. I would sell Tavernier to Dewsbury Hall, Hinshelwood, or Trossard, or Njai, any of the above. Wilson. I'd be happy to sell Tavernier. I probably wouldn't sell Ryan Cherky, though. Chris says, decided on selling João Pedro to Gyökeres, struggling on Keane versus Tarkowski. If you're struggling, just go for the cheaper one that's slightly lower owned. I'd go Keane, yeah. And KDH versus Iliman and Jai. My opinion is when there are 50-50s like that, I'd back the lower owned player, which is Michael Keane and Njai. I like the fact that Iliman and Njai is on penalties as well. So I think for me, if I was making the decision, which I'm not, it's up to you, I would go Keane and Njai. Dan says, chasing 30 points in my mini league. First has Raya/Rice. I have Saka/Gyökeres. We both have Gab. No, hoping for no clean sheet. Really torn on captaincy. Feels important this week. Chasing 30 points. That's a good position to be in that they don't have Saka or Gyökeres. You obviously don't captain Gabriel. Gabriel's the only one that makes no sense to captain because you're hoping for no clean sheet and they've got triple or double clean sheet. So don't captain Gabriel. I would go Saka or Gyökeres. It has to be one of those two, right? Your mini league leader doesn't have Saka and Gyökeres. It's got to be one of those for captaincy. I think it's very close between Saka and Gyökeres. I truly do. I don't think that there's a massive swing in favour of either of them. Gyökeres is on penalties. Saka's minutes, I probably expect to be slightly stronger, but it's close. I like that Saka's a midfielder. I'm probably going to captain Saka, but I will give it some thought. I might not even buy Gyökeres. I still might go Trossard, to be fair. Finn says, Darlow Richards just in stack bench boost. What's to do about Welbeck and Eze? Well, Eze's fine because he'll get minutes, and I like Welbeck. Right, I've not missed it. Have I missed something on Welbeck? Let me just double check here. I don't think I have, but let me just... Could you say what to do about Welbeck? Welbeck seems great to me. I don't think so. I mean, Welbeck's great. I'd keep Welbeck. What to do about Eze? The thing is, even if Eze doesn't start, he'll come off the bench, you'd imagine. 1.5 million in the bank. How many free transfers? You've put 1.m 5 ITB free transfers. Is it one free transfer? Is it 1.5 in the bank? Is it 5 free transfers? If you've got loads and loads of free transfers, you could do Eze to Trossard. But I don't actually know what you've said there, unfortunately, because the message is like messed up. Thomas says, hi, Ross. Hello, Thomas. Good to see you. 5 free transfers, 2.5 million in the bank, 169k. Okay, let's get you top 100k. You can do it, I believe, with 5 free transfers as well. Verbruggen, Nico O'Reilly, Gabriel Van Hecke, Semenyo Bruno, Saka, Gross, Haaland, DCL, João Pedro. It's a great team. Bench of Dubravka, Strauch, Trufer, Tavernier. Any ideas? DCL, JP, Tavernier to Gyökeres, Thiago, Engamoa. I don't know that I'd be desperate to buy Thiago if I didn't have him. DCL, João Pedro, Tavernier, Gyökeres, Thiago. I don't know that DCL to Thiago is worth a transfer. And it also means you have to go Engamoa to do it. Can you... How many Arsenal do you have? Let me check. Saka, Gabriel. So you've got one more. Okay, so JP to Gyökeres. Tavernier to Njai or Dewsbury Hall. And then maybe leave it there. If you want to do a really luxury transfer, you could even do like Gross to Hinshelwood. But I think I would leave it as JP to Gyökeres. Would I? Yeah, JP to Gyökeres and Tavernier to Dewsbury Hall. I would leave it there, Thomas. And you're more than welcome for the advice all season. Hopefully, it has helped you a little bit. Hello, Ross. What do you think of Gabriel triple captain? If I still had the triple captain to play, I would definitely play it this week. And I probably would play it on Gabriel, yeah. 30 points off top 100k, says Chicharito. Gyökeres captain. Yeah, I like Gyökeres captain. Start Munoz over DCL and play Verbruggen and Van Hecke. Yeah, maybe that's a good play. Maybe the best play is to just go all in on Brighton and bench your Leeds and just hope that you get super lucky and that Brighton win 2-0 or something like that. Yeah, I don't mind either of those plays. And 3, why are so many elite managers struggling this season? I think the introduction of DEFCON has made a change. I also think the fact that every single manager, good or bad, has been given 2 sets of every chip. So like normally, regardless of your chip strategy, normally you make up some points in the back end of the season because loads of people have no chips, but everyone just got given a second set of chips. So that doesn't help. Everyone got topped up to 5 free transfers. So that didn't reward planning. And I think on top of that, it's been a very unpredictable season in terms of the teams and players that are doing well. Look at the way the premiums have performed this year. Like, if you've done well this year, you've got to have got quite lucky with like random players. Like, you know when Mukiele just got loads of 15 and 17 pointers, or when Harry Wilson went on a ridiculous run, or Bruno G. Do you remember when Bruno G went on that crazy run too? Like, you've got to have owned those kind of players at the right point. Whereas I think elite managers in the past have done well because they know which players are predictably very good. They know when to play their chips. They know how to save transfers. And it feels like none of that's really been helpful this year, is my general read on why a lot of good managers have struggled. Also, I just think the general manager is getting better and better because they're more and more informed, right? People watching YouTube content, being on social media, reading content online, like people just know what they're doing now a lot more. It's more difficult to just catch people out. Like, people don't usually miss deadlines. People don't usually forget to play chips, whereas in the past, that was kind of regular. 1 free transfer, 44k, aiming for 30k. Nice. Semenyo to Trossard or roll? I'd probably leave it. With 1 free transfer, I'd probably leave that. Physio J says, 2 free transfers. I've got your team, Jay. Who starts? Rogers, KDH, and DCL/Welb to JP. Oh, Rogers to KDH and DCL/Welb to JP. Wait, what? You want to sell? You want to buy João Pedro? Is that what you're saying? Really? I don't get that, if that's what you're saying. Could JP be anyone else? No. You want to buy João Pedro? I wouldn't buy João Pedro. No, not for DCL and Welbeck. Rogers to KDH is a lovely transfer. And then who starts? You probably bench Sarr or Gross. Yeah, I would do Rodgers to KDH and then bench one of Sarr or Gross. I'd probably bench Sarr just because his minutes would be the most worrying for me. Although I think he probably does start Brentford. Maybe it is Pascal Gross. Regardless, I would do the Rodgers to KDH move, Jay. No news on Welbeck, just wasn't sure if selling would be better for other transfers. Oh, I see. No, I like Welbeck a lot. It was 1 mil in the bank, 5 free transfers. My bad, it's 2 a.m. in Australia. Oh, sorry for keeping you awake. Right, now that I know that, and you're asking, do you bench boost? Let me go back to your message and read it again. So, Darlow, Richards, Justin, Stack. You've got, let me just double check. You've got 1 mil in the bank and 5 free transfers. Okay. Where do you use the transfer? Richards, probably to Keane. You've got 1 mil in the bank. Maybe like Richards to Keane and Stack to Dewsbury Hall. Not that I think Stack's bad. I just think I really like Dewsbury Hall when you've got 5 free transfers. And then maybe you would sell Eze. Maybe it would be something like Richards to Keane, Stack to Dewsbury Hall, Eze to Trossard. You've still then got 3 transfers for Game Week 38, and you've just massively boosted your team, I think. So maybe I'll do something along those lines, because Eze is a worry, whereas Trossard seems to be less of a worry. Hello, Fran. Well, I'm not Fran, but I can still answer your question. I have Gabriel, Saliba, and Eze. Okay, 1 free transfer. Do I go sideways to Saka? If you've got the ability in one move to go from Eze to Saka, yes. If it's a -4 hit, I'm not sure. It's not sideways, to be honest, to do Eze to Saka. In fact, that's the opposite of sideways. That's a big upgrade. So I would try your best to do it if you can, but don't break your team to do it. Should I bench boost this week or next? In general, this week is much better because there's likely to be a lot of rotation in 38. I don't know what your bench looks like across the 2 weeks, but if I'm just giving out general advice, I would lean towards saying that I'd bench boost this week. BJ6687 says, Ross, bench boost 37. Okay. Rodgers /Eze /Thiago to Wilson /KDH /Gyökeres for a -4. Don't know about selling Thiago and Eze as part of a -4, but you do get Gyökeres. 20 points off first in the Women's League. Same team as you, except Raya, Eze, Stack over Darlow, Hinshelwood, Saka. Love you. Love you too. Do you know what? Screw it. Chase, go for it. Yeah, those are 3 very aggressive moves. I do think Thiago to Gyökeres isn't very necessary, especially if we consider that being the transfer that's for a hit. But I do like it. If you're going to captain Gyökeres, then I would definitely do it. Like, if Gyökeres is going to come in and be your captain, then it makes a lot of sense. Loved City 2, Bournemouth 2. Yeah, I predicted a City draw. I don't want City to draw, but I'm predicting a City draw right now with Bournemouth. You can see my predictions in the bottom left corner of the screen over here. Gyökeres /Gabriel captain and play Thiago or Wilson. I think Gabriel's the safer captain. I think Gyökeres has a very high ceiling and is a little bit lower owned. So it depends if you're playing safe or chasing. And play Thiago or Wilson as a tough one, but I would just about lean the penalty taker, so I'd play Thiago. But ideally, you don't bench either of those, I think, is my honest opinion. Oh, you're saying you didn't... Sim, you're saying you didn't even see that? Oh, were you just predicting separately Bournemouth 2, City 2? I thought you were saying that you loved that I've predicted that. If you were just predicting that separately, that's quite impressive. FPL Cats, good to see you as always. Says, nearly missed the deadline stream, was too busy watching EastEnders. Forgive me. Cats, that's the most British thing I've ever heard, but I love it. I do forgive you. If you'd have missed the deadline, I wouldn't have ever forgiven you. But because you didn't miss it, and you're here now, then I do forgive you. Yeah, no, I was saying that's what I hoped for. Fair play. Like, we've got the exact same prediction. Maybe that's a thing now, Sim. If this ends up being correct, then great minds think alike. I need to remind myself, if Man City Bournemouth is 2-2, That's it, right? Like, Man City have to win. Arsenal go to 82. Yeah. So Man City have to win. If Arsenal draw and City... Arsenal not going to draw with Burnley. But if Arsenal draw and City win, then it's obviously equal points. It goes down to goal difference on the final day. Imagine if Palace get a result against Arsenal on the final day. That would be incredible. Chat, is there any chance that Arsenal don't win the league? What do you think? Saka in from -4. And Burmo to Saka, Bowen to Welbeck. Bowen to Welbeck doesn't feel great. Are you having to do that to afford Mbermo for Saka? I would honestly just be tempted by like Mbermo to Trossard or something like that instead. I hope so. It's a funny comment. Yeah, I can't see Palace, because Palace is going to rotate so heavily for the Europa Conference League final, aren't they? KJ is the same team as yours, but I have Gross, Welbeck, and Eze. Nice. Over Saka, Thiago, Hinchelwood. Yeah, nice options. 3 free transfers, 1.9 in the bank. What do I do? Horror bench boost last week. I don't know. Like, Eze might start, but people are really starting to worry me predicting that he's not. So maybe Eze to Trossard. If you've got a lot of transfers like you do, maybe that's worth doing. And then just maybe roll the rest. Eze to Trossard. You could then also do the double move that I'm doing. Maybe you do Eze to Trossard, and then also on top of that do the... I'm going to probably do Rodgers to Engamoa and Calvert-Lewin to Gyökeres. So maybe you do those. I just think you don't need to use all of your transfers this week if you don't want to. But definitely Eze to Trossard would interest me. 2 free transfers, topping my mini league by 11 points. Okay? Eze and Rodgers to Saka and Stack. Or Eze and Rodgers to Bruno G and Trossard. I think Eze and Rodgers to Saka and Stack. I assume you can't afford Eze and Rodgers to Saka and Dewsbury Hall. If you can, definitely that. But under the assumption that it has to be Saka and Stack, I still think that looks pretty good. Salem says, choose one out of Trossard in, Enzo out. KDH in, Tavernier out. I think I'd risk it for Trossard. I think objectively, if I'm playing optimally and giving you just safe, sensible advice, the Dewsbury Hall transfers are going to be better, Salem, but I think I would risk it with Trossard. Stein, Frederick, Hester, and then it cuts off. Thank you for your super chat. I've got your team. Bench boost is active and 3 free transfers. Okay. How do we lock in with this team? What's the situation with Okafor is the first question I have. Is Okafor ruled out still? I think he is. Am I right in saying? Yeah. Okay. So Okafor's got to go. What's the rest of the team saying? Munoz, Richards, not ideal. Maybe something like Okafor. How many Arsenal do you have? One sec. Sorry, Raya, Gabriel says you've got 3 Arsenal already. Who can you buy? Who can you buy that's of interest? Maybe you downgrade Munoz to Keane and then upgrade Okafor. That'll give you like 1.5 in the bank. Maybe Okafor up to Bruno G. Quite like that. Or Iliman Ndiaye. Okay, that's the plan. Munoz down to Michael Keane and then upgrade Okafor to someone fun. Iliman Ndiaye, Bruno G, whoever you fancy as a punt. And then I think you're looking good. 1 hour until the deadline. 1 hour until the deadline. I repeat. Do not panic. Most people aren't panicked, to be fair. I think most people are just waiting for the season to end. It does feel like that, doesn't it, a little bit? Do you know what? We're going to run a new poll. We're going to bin off the captaincy poll because it's just a terrible poll anyway. How do you feel about the FPL season ending soon? Oh. We're going to run a poll about how you feel. Can't wait for it to end. We'll miss it a bit. Not really. And then let's say don't want it to end. That's the worst poll. I'm not doing very well with my poll options today. I feel like I'm letting myself down as a researcher and sports psychology guy that should know how to run a good poll, but you're gonna have to just deal with the poll that I've put in the chat. If you want to see the options, click on the chat. You'll see the poll there. It's basically a poll about how you feel about the FPL season ending soon. You've got can't wait for it to end, not really bothered, will miss it a bit, and don't want it to end. They're your options. If you don't fall into one of those categories, you're going to have to just get over it. What does the crown near my name mean? It means you are a top fan. So you get XP in the YouTube chat by commenting, and you get more XP if you send a super chat. So as of right now, the top fans for the live stream is Finn in first, Sento in second, Thomas in third, eForbes in fourth, Irfan in fifth, Jondre in sixth, Shiva in seventh, Saheb Dylan in eighth, Brighton FPL in ninth, and Physio J in 10th. Hayden Ferguson also joined 10th as well. By the way, Ross, you missed my super chat. Yeah, I'm making my way back through now. Don't you worry. Captain Gabriel or Saka? Saka, I think, is the chasing play. Gabriel, the slightly safer pick. Bench Gross or Van Hecker? I would honestly start Van Hecker and bench Gross. Gross just doesn't look great at the moment. Welbeck / João Pedro to Gyökeres or Strauch to Saliba? I think Strauch to Saliba is arguably the safest transfer there, or the best transfer, the most optimal. Saheb says, I'm one of the idiots with Isak in my team. I've already done Scott to KDH. Would you then do Isak to Thiago for a -4 to bench Lafy, or is it not worth the hit? I would honestly just be tempted to just play Enzo Lafy. Is Thiago 4 points better off than Enzo Lafy? I'm not that convinced. And I absolutely think Sunderland will still get chances. As much as I like Keane and Tarkowski, doesn't mean that Lafy's bad. Finn says, I like those moves. Same keepers, defence as you. Mids, Cherky, Hinshelwood, Fernandes, Trossard, Haaland, João Pedro, Welbeck. Bench boost of Darlow, Keane, Dewsbury Hall, Justin. Sensational. Yeah, sensational. I mean, you could definitely make an argument that on your actual bench, it would be João Pedro instead of Dewsbury Hall, and that you might start Keane ahead of Munoz. You know what I mean? Like something like that. But you're playing the bench boost, so it doesn't actually matter, does it? All 15 of your players will get points anyway. Leeds also have a chance to win against Brighton like 3-0. Yeah, but the quotes from Daniel Farker, I think Harry posted them on his... Here it was. Farker says this might be the toughest injury update of the season. Gruev, Okafor, Goodmanson, and Bogle are definitely out. Buonanotte is ineligible. Strauch is yet to train. And Padu is ill. And they've got nothing to play for, Leeds. I think Leeds could get absolutely battered by Brighton. I really do. That's why I'm very happy to have Hinshelwood. The real crazy case is stress with FPL, but bring on this World Cup. Absolutely. I'm ready for the World Cup. Triple captain picks. I would play it this week on Gabriel, Saka, or Gyökeres. Simple as that. Thanks, FPL. Says, hello, Raptor. Hello. I've got your team. Four free transfers, 0.5 in the bank. Thoughts on the team? Bench boost Free transfers chasing 20 points. I would play your bench boost this week. What moves would I make? Heaven Rodham. Turkey, Dewsbury Hall, Hinchwood, Bruno Lacroix. Right. God, it's a great team with 4 free transfers. So you've got Saka, GABRIEL. I think getting Lacroix to Saliba makes sense. How are you going to fund that, though? I don't really think you need to sell any of your players. If you're chasing 20 points, I wonder Lacroix to Saliba, and to fund Lacroix to Saliba, you do Cherky down to Iliman and Jai. The other option you've got is just do Lacroix to Miles Lewis Skelly and keep the rest of the transfers. I think getting Lacroix to an Arsenal defender, it should be the priority transfer there for you, mate. And yeah, I would bench boost this week for sure. Hi, Russell. Have we heard anything on Verts tonight? No, we haven't yet. But if we do, I'll let you know. I just wanted to have a quick look again at what the predictions were on Liverpool. I forgot. Verts is 26% to start by the Liverpool predictors. But the interesting thing on Verts is 3 of the top 4 predictors have Verts to start. Remember, it's best to worst, left to right. And 3 of the top 4 on Liverpool say Verts will start. So maybe you've got a bit of hope, to be fair. João Pedro to Gyökeres, Van Hecke starts, or Struijk to Saliba? João Pedro to Gyökeres, start Van Hecke. I think that sounds nice. Sean Redmond, thank you for the super chat. Says 1 point ahead in my league. DCL to Gyökeres for a -4. Person behind me has Eze and Saka, and I have no Arsenal attack. So you're 1 point ahead, but you're taking a -4. So you're going to start the week 3 points behind. Do I think Gyökeres is 4 points better off than DCL? If you're going to captain Gyökeres, I would do it. If you're not captaining Gyökeres, I would leave it. Just about, yeah. So it comes down to who you want to captain. Mr. Shazam with the very generous super chat. What a blinking legend. Afternoon, Ross. No questions today. Just wanted to support your YouTube channel. Thanks for the time and effort you do to make these great streams and videos, mate. What a legend. Honestly. Shazam, you've made my life so much better just by being kind. I don't know, like, I try to be a very kind person and bring positivity to the world, but Shazam does that in abundance. He's just a legend. If you don't know Shazam by now, by the way, a YouTube member, moderator for the live streams, has been in basically every live stream we've done this season. In fact, Shazam might have been in every live stream this season and just always supporting. So big love to you, my friend. Why is Arsenal's prediction of yours always 3-0? Because they're very good. I always think they'll keep a clean sheet. I always fancy them to score a couple. So it will pretty much always be 2-0 or 3-0 for an Arsenal prediction. Last one before bed. Trossard captain, or am I stupid? I think Trossard's a very decent captain. I don't think he's my favourite captain, but I think he is one of the better captains. So to answer your question, before you go to sleep, it's absolutely not a stupid decision, no. I just think I prefer a few of the other players. Is this the final team, Rossi boy? No, I've not actually made my transfers yet. I'm probably... Let's actually show you. I'm probably leaning towards Rodgers to Ngumoa, and Calvert-Lewin to Gyökeres. This is the way that I'm leaning right now. I've only got 0.1 wiggle room, but... What do you think? It's either that Or instead of that, I keep DCL and just do Rodgers to Trossard. Which, it saves me one transfer and it gives me 1.2 million in the bank. So going into game week 38, I'd have 2 free transfers and 1.2 million in the bank. This is definitely better in terms of flexibility and giving me the chance to have fun in 38. It's just how much better do I think Gyökeres is than Trossard, basically. And by the way, almost 40% of people can't wait for the season to end on that poll. Hi, Rush. You're my number one FPL content creator. Despite your finish this season, doesn't matter. You're the best. Big fan. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Right, let me run a poll to see what you guys prefer. Which option do you prefer? We'll go DCL and Rodgers to Gyökeres and Ngumoa, or Rodgers to Trossard plus 1 free transfer plus 1.2 million. Yeah, sure. Which option do you prefer then? So again, just to recap before you vote on the poll, the option of doing Rodgers to Trossard, it only requires 1 transfer and it gives me an extra 1.1 million in the bank. Or I do Rodgers to Ngumoa, which is my easiest way to free up doing Calvert-Lewin to Gyökeres. I do actually have a third option, which I've not really spoken about much all week. But if I don't want to do Calvert-Lewin to Gyökeres and I instead want to do Thiago to Gyökeres, I can do Rodgers then to Dewsbury Hall. The issue I've got with this is that I'm just then benching Calvert-Lewin anyway. So really what this comes down to is Dewsbury Hall versus Thiago. And I don't know that Dewsbury Hall is that much better. You know? Thanks for the kind words, Ross. I really appreciate them. Us follically challenged men. That's one way of putting it, Shazam. I didn't know you were a fellow Boldy, but I appreciate it. Well, maybe you're not a full Boldy. Yeah. I just think I want to go Gyökeres. I do. I just think I'll enjoy the weekend more, so... That's the plan. But I'll wait another 20 minutes just in case. You never know. Something might happen. The poll is literally 50-50. That's hilarious. Hi, Russ. Love the jersey you're wearing. Thank you. As I said before, it's from River Island, for anyone that's asking. It's got like a little... It's got like some stuff up the sleeves. You know? Something a bit different. And I like brown. Brown's actually a really nice colour on clothing, I think. Anyway, I've done Eze to Saka and Rodgers to KDH. Love it. Very, very nice in Anther. Yeah, I'm not going to criticise that at all. Even for the -4 hit, I don't mind it. Jack says, hello, Rodgers to Saka or Thiago to Gyökeres? Rodgers to Saka for me. Patrick says, bench boost. 1 free transfer. Got Dubravka and Joachim Andersen. -4 for Kelleher and Keane. Got Eze too. Yeah, I think I would -4 for Kelleher and Keane. You could just keep Dubravka. Actually, I would keep Dubravka. He's got Wolves on the final day. I don't think Kelleher's that much better. I think Crystal Palace will score. I wouldn't make the -4. I would just do Anderson to Keane and save yourself a 4-point hit. I only like Thiago to Gyökeres for the same person spamming the same message. I only like Thiago to Gyökeres if it's to Captain Gyökeres. If you're not Captain Gyökeres, then don't do it. If you are, then go for it. Rodgers to anyone 10 million or below, or JP to anyone 10.1. Rodgers to Saka, or Rodgers to Trossard, or Rodgers to Njai. Probably, yeah. I think Saka, Trossard, Njai, or Dewsbury Hall. for any of those for Rodgers. I would honestly probably keep Rodgers and start him if you own him, because I'm going to sell him, and this guy only does the points when... he only does the points when I sell him. João Pedro to Gyökeres, Lacroix to Biel, chasing 25 points. Biel was a little bit naff, but I get it to fund it. If it's for free, yeah. If it's for free, I don't hate it, especially because you get Gyökeres. Why are we rating Palace? I don't think we really are rating Palace, are we? Triple captain Gyökeres or Saka? This sounds like an obvious point, but like triple captain, it doesn't change the way you're playing the chip. Just do you prefer Gyökeres or Saka for captain, and then just triple captain whoever you prefer, you know? I think there's not much at all between Saka and Gyökeres. You could almost flip a coin. In fact, should we spin the wheel? That's probably the best way to decide on captaincy, isn't it? Right. We've got Saka. We've got Gyökeres. Trossard. Gabriel. Haaland. Bruno. Thiago. Guys, who are you captaining? Is there anyone that's not on this list right now that you think should be? Pat Kells says, play Lacroix or Kadioglu or -4. I have DCL and Verbruggen / Dahl. I'm 20 points from second in my mini league. 40k overrank. Captain Gyökeres. Think he will captain Saka. Should I get a -4 to get KDH in for Tavernier or just play Hinshelwood? I would play Hinshelwood and play Kadioglu and not take a -4. And yes, I agree captaining Gyökeres in that situation. People are captaining Pascal Gross. Can I just point out, Pascal Gross could score, by the way, but look at this guy's XG. I don't want to put you off Pascal Gross because he's probably going to score like 4 goals now. To be fair, last 2 games he's actually shot, but look at this. So 0.23, 0.18 better. 0.06, 0, 0, 0. 0.06, 0, 0.1. I just couldn't captain a player that doesn't shoot, really. Personally. He's definitely scoring now. Do you know what? We'll put him on the list. Boom, you're the best. No worries at all, Pat Kells. I appreciate the support. Bruno or Thiago captain, don't have Saka. Probably prefer Bruno. Already have Saka, don't have Bruno. Either straight swap Rodgers or could -4 Rodgers to Bruno and JP to someone 7.1 max. I would just leave Bruno for now then. Straight swap. I would just go Rodgers to Trossard or Rodgers to Iliman Ndiaye. Am I missing anyone? I don't think there's anyone that anyone else is regularly saying. So let's go for it. We do best 2 of 3. So Saka's got 1. Best 2 of 3, right? So it has to land on the player twice. Boo. We don't like that. We don't like that at all. The Wehil is not normally this decisive. That is a very decisive Wehil. Sound is a bit annoying. Don't disrespect the will, please. please. Thank you. Please and thank you. Thank you and please. Super annoying. What is it with all these people? Where have you come from? We've been doing the wheel for 4 seasons. And out of nowhere, we have 2 people back-to-back say it's annoying. Get in the bin. In the bin you pop. Can't go for Gyökeres/Trossard as I already have 3 Arsenal. What do I change? For Rodgers, Justin, Lacroix, Munoz. 0 in the bank, 3 free transfers. Have Welb instead of DCL. Njai, Tarko, Keane, Gay, KDH, JP. I think Rodgers to Iliman Njai is probably your best transfer. I don't think Justin, Lacroix, or Munoz need to be replaced, and I don't think you need to use all of your transfers. I think Rodgers to Njai or Dewsbury Hall and leave it there probably makes the most sense. Yeah, don't disrespect the will. Exactly. You guys know. Everyone jumped to the will's defense there. I appreciate it. You can't disrespect the will. Thanks, FPL says, thanks, Raptor. Lacroix to Saliba and Cherky to Njai still need 0.1 million. What about Lacroix to Tark instead of Skelly? Trossard against Cherky. Yeah, that works. Already have DH. Yeah, I like that. Trossard and Tarkovsky is arguably, to be honest, a better combination. Even not taking into account funds, you know? Yeah, I like that option a lot. Best non-Saliba Arsenal defender. In terms of upside, it's probably Calafiori, but do you definitely know that Calafiori is going to start? I just don't know. But if Calafiori definitely was starting, I would lean that way. I think Lewis Skelly would probably be my second favourite Arsenal defender outside of Saliba. Obviously, assuming you've got Gabriel. MN Chuckster says, hello, another red arrow even with last week's bench boost. Your team looked great. You've been very, very unlucky this season, mate. Very, very unlucky. Every week your team looks pretty good and then you just come back and say you got another red arrow. That's very, very sad. Yeah, that is very, very sad. Sorry, your message just flew away. Okay, so you're going a bit different in the last 2 game weeks. What do you think about Rodgers, Bowen, Lacroix to Bruno G, Gyökeres, Keane for a -4? Bruno G. I like Bruno G. I like Gyökeres cap. I like Keane. Do you know what, mate? At this stage, just bloody go for it. Just go for it. I'm sick and tired of you getting red arrows, though. I'm hoping you get a green this week. Yeah, fingers crossed, mate. And I like those 3 transfers, even for the hit. Hello, Ross. Just did the DCL to Gyökeres transfer. Hopefully you go for it today. I feel like his brace is coming. Yeah, I'm probably going to go for it, I'll be honest. I think I'm leaning that way. I am a sucker for a penalty taker, after all. You've got, how long we got? Just over half an hour till the deadline. Just over half an hour. Why is nobody talking about Wilson versus Wolves? He's had back-to-back subs pre-65 minutes, and his output has been pretty poor for a while now. I still think Wilson's good, by the way. If you've got him, I love him, but I wouldn't be that desperate to go and buy him, personally. Would you start Gross or DCL? I suppose it partially depends which defenders you're starting, but I think in isolation, DCL is better than Gross. David Finn with the very generous super chat. Thank you, David. Says, hello, Ross. Would you do Strout to Cucurella as a punt, Semenyo to Doku to fund it? Cucurella? That's a bit out of nowhere. I don't mind the fixtures, to be fair, across the last 2 weeks. Would I do that? No. No, I probably wouldn't do that. I probably prefer like Strout to Michael Keane or something like that, honestly. But if you've got a good feeling about Cucurella, David, I'm not going to be the one to put you off of it. Trust your gut feeling. With only 2 weeks left, you should certainly do nothing other than trust your gut feeling. Does Saka give up pens at home? Yes. Gyökeres is an outstanding penalty taker. How much do you have in the bank? I have 0.3. That's the team like that. Thanks, Raptor. Didn't mean both Tark and Trossard. Didn't you? Wait, what? I'm confused. But you said Lacroix to Tark instead of Skelly Trossard against Cherky. Wait, what was your original message? I'm a bit confused then. Why can you not do both of those? I'm very lost, mate. I thought you were playing the bench boost, and I thought you had 3 transfers. So I thought you could do Lacroix to Tarkovsky and Trossard to Cherky. If you can only do one of those, probably Lacroix to Saliba. Sorry, Lacroix to Tarkovsky. Mellows says 2 free transfers, a bench of Munoz, Strauch, Okafor. With my 3 City a risk, do I need to strengthen my bench? No, Munoz is fine. Strauch could feature. I mean, there is a chance that you don't have any players, but how many transfers do you say you have? 2 free transfers. To be fair, you could maybe use a transfer to do Okafor to Dewsbury Hall anyway and then bench someone. So yeah, maybe I would make 1. Maybe I'd make 1 transfer. Sorry for confusing you. No, you don't need to apologise. I can, but just didn't think of it. You are absolutely right. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I would do both moves. I would do, yeah, Tarkovsky in and Trossard in. I like them. You've got just over half an hour to the deadline. Would you triple captain Gabriel or Saka? I think Gabriel is the best captain and therefore the best triple captain. But if you're chasing, I think there is upside in other players. I don't really want to captain Gabriel, so just because I'd rather captain an attacker personally. Bruno G or Dewsbury Hall? I do really like Bruno G. Let's actually have a look at Bruno G's data since coming back. That would help. Because I've not really had a look into his data since returning. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cracking data there. Okay, decent. Yeah, he looks pretty good, actually. DEFCON as well, 11, 14. That's a really nice performance, to be honest. He could have come away with a monster score. They didn't even get a goal or an assist. I like Bruno G a lot, actually. But I probably would lean Dewsbury Hall just about. Confirmed Casemiro is in my team. Need a big header goal from him this Sunday. It would be a great... I really hope he scores. It'd be such a nice way for him to sign off. He's been so good for us. Sarr to Barnes / Trossard, Strauch to Keane, 2 free transfers. Sarr to Trossard, Strauch to Keane sounds good to me, Robbie. I don't know where the thing is with a username like that. It's like I just don't know where the names start and end. But I'm just going to say Prab. I'm going to be Prab. Hi, Ross. Bench Wilson and do Sarr to Bruno G or start Wilson. I'd start Wilson. Even if you're chasing, Wilson isn't very highly owned now. So, yeah, I just don't think that's necessary. Bench one of Calvert-Lewin, Gross, or Welbeck. Probably Pascal Gross. The last time Saka gave away a home penalty when on the pitch was 23rd of April 24 in a 5-0 versus Chelsea. But Gyökeres is a great penalty taker. I think that's useless looking at past stuff, personally. I mean, I hope Saka takes it because I'm going to captain him. But I just think if Gyökeres is on the pitch, he's taking the pen. Sorry for cracking my knuckle then. That was very loud. Is Captain Gabriel triple defense too much? No, I almost think if I had triple defense, it would make me want to Captain Gabriel even more. Because then you've got 4 defenders. That's pretty impressive. Like, a clean sheet's going to gain you so much there. Bench Dewsbury Hall or Gross? I would start Dewsbury Hall probably there. Any Liverpool team news? Not that I've seen, but let me have a quick scour on Twitter. Can't see anything. Let me know in the chat if you do see any accounts posting stuff. Ross, I took a punt on Enzo. What do you think? I like it. It just depends what happens in the final on Saturday, right? It's a bit of a risk buying a player that has another competitive game before the Premier League game, but he tends to start most games, doesn't he, and get 90. I love that Arsenal need goal difference in case they tie next week. Have Saka and Gabriel bringing in Trossard, secure minutes. Better for breaking down a low block than Martinelli. Yeah, I agree. I think that sounds like a nice plan. I think Trossard deserves to start the final couple of games. If you could only own one of Saka or Gyökeres this week, who would you choose? Saka just about, but I think that's pretty close. It's basically asking the same question of who's the best captain. You're just asking who's better, right? So it's a different way to frame the question, but it's the same question. Hello, Ross. Weird request, but can you say shout out Juicy? Appreciate your content all season. I don't know what I've just done there, but shout out Juicy. I don't know if that's a positive. I don't know if that's a euphemism. I don't know if someone's called Juicy. Who knows? But I've said it now. You guys have been pretty useless on the poll. 47%, 53%. Actually, you guys marginally prefer the Trossard route, so I'm surprised. Start Gross or Engamoa? I think there I'd start Pascal Gross over Engamoa. Right. I'm just going to make my transfers because the game's not even tonight, so it's just not going to affect me, is it? I'm gonna buy Gyökeres. I just want Gyökeres in my team. And I'm going to go Engamoa. Is it definitely Engamoa that I want? Let me just do one final check. Yeah, King doesn't start. Baleba starts, but he's just a bit boring. But he is a DEFCON guy. But he's 4.5. I can't afford him anyway. It's 4.3. Andre Santos? Is Engamoa the best mid 4.4 or below? Could Justin Devenny start? Maybe. Potts doesn't start. I think it is Engamoa. Okay, Engamoa. Bye-bye Calvert-Lewin. I'm sure Calvert-Lewin will score now. We know what it's like. We've played this game long enough. Cool. Confirm. Rogers to Engamoa, Calvert-Lewin to Gyökeres. Cool. And I'll vice-captain Victor Gyökeres. So the question I have for you now, guys, is what order... That's quite a strong bench, isn't it? What order do I have my bench? Be careful with that, Ross. People get content creators to say stuff like that to drive political narratives. Yeah, that didn't sound very political, but you never know. I'll avoid saying political stuff, of course. Is Rogers not playing? He's just terrible. I just don't want to own him. He'll probably score tonight, but who would you have first sub? Who is the best option? Right, we're doing a poll. There's a poll in the chat now. Who would you have first sub? Oh, I see what you're saying, Sim. Yeah, that's fine. Well, I can point back to this if they do that, you know. If you were on bench boost, would you transfer out Strauch? Maybe, if I had the transfers to use, potentially. You guys are so useless. Honestly, look at your bloody poll. You're all voting the 33, 33, 33, basically. Looking forward to World Cup Fantasy on Club. Yes, so am I. Just as a reminder, guys, if you've if you've not seen, I am going to be playing World Cup Fantasy this summer, but I'm going to be playing the Club World Cup Fantasy. So let me actually collect my cash. But there's like, Club is basically like fantasy football meets club ownership. This is my team for this week, which I think I'm happy with. I do quite like Tonali though. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it this week. But yeah, as you can see by the screenshots, just to the left of me, you can see what the Club World Cup game will look like as well. So definitely download Club. There's a link down below. This is the fantasy game that I'm going to be playing. It's completely free. It looks unreal. I honestly can't wait for it. I genuinely can't. But this will be the only club. This will be the only World Cup game that I'll be playing. And it's completely free to download as well. Looks childish. It's not at all childish, by the way. Hi, Ross. Appreciate you, bud. Gyökeres or Thiago? I appreciate you. Gyökeres is better this week. Drew says, I have Henderson and Darlow. 2 transfers have Gabriel and Saliba. Should I go for Raya and Keane or Verbruggen and Trossard? Captain. I think Verbruggen and Trossard sounds nice. Yeah, Verbruggen and Trossard just. That is pretty close though, isn't it? Verbruggen and Trossard sounds nice. I think that's the highest ceiling pair. When are you triple captain? I've already triple captained. Start Chow or Gay? I would start Chow this week, I think. 15 points down in my mini league. Captain, Saka, Gabriel, Trossard. I think if you're 15 points down, probably Saka or Trossard. I would lean Bukayo Saka, just about. Rogers, Cambo, Strauch to Trossard, Keane, Mavropanos. Rogers, Cambo, Strauch to Trossard, Keane, Mavropanos. Yeah. I don't know about Mavropanos. I'm not that interested there, personally. I get it. I'd maybe go Bassi, personally, instead. Unless you don't need the defender this week, and then I understand Mavropanos. Team selection for Game Week 37, Game Week 38 bench boost. Wildcard. I would have triple Arsenal, triple Everton, Gabriel, Saka, Gyökeres. I'd have Tarkowski, Keane, Dewsbury Hall. I'd have Hinshelwood. Who else would I have? I don't know. I'd make sure that I had triple Arsenal. I'd make sure that I had triple Everton. And then I'd fill in the gaps from there, to be honest. It's a bit difficult asking me to build a wild card 20 minutes before the deadline on a deadline stream, but that would be along the lines of it. Just make sure that all of your players look good in 38 if you're going to bench boost in 38. Ross, thank you for being a member for 14 months. I appreciate that. Why are people going mad over Everton? They've got a decent amount to play for, and they've got 2 good games. And they have good FPL assets, you know. Sunderland at home's one of the better games that you can have, I would say, right now. Sunderland haven't been playing very well. Bruno G is such a good pick. Low owned can get Defcon. Great for bonus. Both goal and assist threat. 3rd highest for points per game for a midfielder. Yeah, I like Bruno G a lot as well. Yeah, Bruno G is probably going under the radar quite a lot. If we're looking at players that, like... Players that could do really well. Just realised I need to take a screenshot of my team now that I've made my transfers. I think my team looks good this week, although that means absolutely nothing in the world of FPL. I thought my team looked good last week. Spurs away last game is not easy, though. Well, unless West Ham beat Newcastle, then Spurs will be safe, so they're not going to have much to prove or much to do, you know. 96 to 80 in the family feud. Very nice. She triple captain Haaland and I bench boosted and got lucky with double Sunderland clean sheet. By the way, 96 is disgusting. How many did I get? Like 65 or something? Just inside the top 100k in ranks and not sure if I'm chasing or protecting now. That is incredible. I would say you just want to finish top 100k. Honestly, Thor, I would just carry on making good decisions and that should hopefully see you through to the end. Well done to both of you, though, because they're both good scores. Stark Rose or O'Reilly? Ooh, I would go Nico O'Reilly. DCL or Richarlison? Ooh, tough one. DCL probably. I haven't seen anything. I'm trying to think what accounts I could search for. What accounts can I search for that I know do... Does he still post? I don't know what he's actually on. I'm trying to think what Liverpool accounts. Has anyone seen anything? How long we got to the deadline? Just over 15 minutes. Okay, I'll keep an eye out. GeoGuessr later? Yeah, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. I did upload a video on my YouTube channel earlier, so you can go watch that if you want more GeoGuessr stuff. Hello, bro. Hello. Once again, thanks for the help this year. You are more than welcome. Munoz for Mavropanos or Tarkovsky/Keane. Captain Gyökeres or Gabriel. I also have Saka and Bruno Fernandes. I really like Gyökeres captain. Gabriel is still the best captain for me. In terms of Munoz for Mavropanos or Tarkovsky/Keane, I would say Munoz to Keane and Captain Gyökeres. From the options you've provided me there. Carmelo says, hello, Ross. On bench boost, 2 free transfers and 3.5 million in the bank. Okay. Welbeck, Haaland, DCL, good. Wilson, good. Hinshelwood, good. Bruno, good. Cherky, good. Mookie, anywhere. Senesi's good. Virgil, Nico, Dubravka. Okay. And you've got Raya, Gabriel, and no Saka. I think you might have to miss out on Saka, is my gut instinct there. I'm just trying to think, is there a way to get Saka in? 3.5 Rodgers. You could do Saka, actually. Rodgers to Saka. I'm trying to think how much Saka is. So that would give you, you'd need 2.6, 2.7. So you'd have 0.8 left. And then Dubravka to Verbruggen. Yeah, I like that. Dubravka to Verbruggen. And Rodgers to Saka. I would do that, Carmelo. Protecting 3 free transfers. Use the free transfer to avoid 2 Brighton defence and DCL. Not really, no. They're both quite highly owned. And the fact that you're protecting from the Brighton defence, you're protecting from Calvert-Lewin scoring. You don't really need to commit either way. So, no, I would not bother using transfers just for that. Is it better to bench boost 37 or 38? Definitely 37. 38 will be an absolute rotation fest. I do think there'll be a random rotation this week, but Game Week 38 is always so difficult to predict, especially for teams that don't have much to play for. 5 points off first in my mini-league. He doesn't have Arsenal attack, but could buy this week. I don't know who to get for Rodgers. He has KDH. Do I copy and limit risk and hope he doesn't buy Saka? Or do I double Arsenal attack, but don't cover Everton? Honestly, when it's this close, mate, 5 points off your mini-league, it's just... there's no point being really chasey or really protective. Like 5 points is just, it's like one assist and DEFCON. And then all of a sudden that 5 points is back. You don't have to have a different team. So I would ignore ownership. I would ignore who he has and just make the best decisions for your team. The best way for you to win this is to get the most points you can. So to answer that, I would buy whoever you think for Rodgers is the best. Trossard, KDH, and Jai, whoever you fancy the most. And ignore what your mini league leaders can do. I would say in Game Week 38, you can be a little bit more strategic. But this week, I think it makes sense to just you do you, basically. Captain Saka or Gyökeres, who's more of a minutes risk? It's a good question, Lauren. I think both start. So I don't think either are a massive minutes risk, but I think both will also come off early. So I don't know who will come off earlier. It would depend on game state. But in terms of being a minutes risk, I would be surprised if either of them are benched for this game. You've got just over 13 minutes until the deadline. Ross, wise as always. I don't know about that, but I try my best. Dave says, hello, Ross. Thanks for another great, albeit miserable season. I appreciate your support once again, Dave, and for being a member for so long. This year's moniker for should be Marcus de Raptor, pain for pleasure. Thank you. Pain for pleasure? I don't know if that, I'm trying to work out if that's a compliment or an insult or just an observation. Gabriel or Gyökeres captain? I think Gabriel is the better captain, but I think Gyökeres could go huge, and I think he's been loading a big haul for a while now. So I quite like Gyökeres cap. I do. I am tempted myself. Chasing and bench boosting. Do Bruno to Saka or Rodgers to Soboslai? So Rodgers/Soboslai to Trossard or Welbeck to Gyökeres with another transfer for a -4. I just think Rodgers to Trossard. Nice and easy. Ross, are you in a position to fully blame Pickle for your lower rank? Too much romantic distraction. I'm glad somebody said it. It's not my fault. I think it's her fault, yeah. Still have the triple captain to play. Any suggestions? Whoever you're captaining this week, triple captain them. I would triple captain one of Gabriel, Saka, or Gyökeres this week, absolutely. I don't see a standout triple captain in Game Week 38. Do you see a correlation between your rank and YouTube views? Yeah, absolutely. I only like 20 to 30% higher or lower. So if you're having a bad season like I am, my views are about 20 to 30% lower. If you're having a great season, you can see a 20 to 30% boost. I don't think all of a sudden you'll see your views doubled or halved just because you are not doing well or doing really well. But it definitely plays a part. A lot of people will think, why would I sit and listen to someone that's not doing well? Other people will think, I don't care what the person's rank is. I care what they're saying and how good their advice is. Obviously, I know, and a lot of other people know, your advice and what you do with your team are always very different things. So I think my advice this season has been pretty banging for the most part, but my team has not done the points. FPL Cats says, need a Rodon replacement for bench boost. 4.4 and already got 3 Brighton. Oh, 4.4 is a shame because Keane's great. Bassey. I'd probably go Bassey, I think. Yeah, Bassey probably. Playing Schrodinger's FPL for the last 2 weeks. That's funny. Always will stick around no matter the rank. Thank you very much. I'm at 10k and I listen to you yap. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Casemiro in to start ahead of O'Reilly or roll. I'd honestly roll. I would roll. Do you think Saka starts? Yes. The reason I'm feeling pretty good about Saka and Gyökeres' minutes is there's an 8-day gap between their previous game and the Burnley game. If there's an 8-day gap, you don't want to bench them then as well, because then it's going to push to like a 15-day gap between the games. Do you understand what I mean? Like, you need match rhythm and fitness as much as you need players to be fresh. Vert's benched, Isak not in the squad. Says who? Can I have a link? Can I have an account at? Whoever just said that, if you can put in the chat the account, that'd be great. What to do with Eze? If you've got loads of transfers, I would sell Eze to Trossard. If you don't have many, maybe you just risk it. But Saka is probably not getting more than 60. But how do you build up fitness if you're getting 50 minutes? It was from people, mate. It's confirmed. Oh, FPL, mate. Okay. FPL mate has said that Verts is on the bench and Isak isn't in the squad. There we go. I don't know how accurate FPL mate's Liverpool news is, to be honest, but that sounds about right. That sounds about what you'd expect. So start Cherky or Gross. Yeah, Cherky's minutes are a bit of a worry, but I would still lean towards Ryan Cherky. I think Eze starts. Think both Erdegaard and him play. Interesting. So do you think Trossard or Lewis Skelly is benched then, Jeremy, in that world? If you think Eze and Erdegaard both start together, then one of Trossard or Lewis Skelly doesn't start. Triple Arsenal defence, who's a captain? I'd go all in and captain Gabriel. Just go all in on triple Arsenal defence. Then you'd have quadruple Arsenal defence. Appreciate that, Ross. So Juicy is a nickname. When I was in high school, my nickname was R Juicy, but I eventually got shortened to Juicy. Just a normal guy here with no political agenda. Okay, that's good to know. That's cool. Shout out to the high school days, or as we call it in the UK, secondary school. What do you in the US call primary? Is it primary schools then in the US? Why can't I think? High school, college. We go secondary school, university. What do you call primary school in the US? I can't think. Just school? Oh, elementary. Bang. There it is. I knew I'd heard it from films before, but I could not remember. Kindergarten. No, kindergarten's like nursery, isn't it? Kindergarten's before elementary school, I think. Can someone in the chat, how do the grades work in the US? You know, it's like 7th grade. What does that mean? Like, what is the equivalent? I've never bothered looking, but they'll say, like, oh, this person's in 7th grade. I'm like, I don't know what that means. You know? Anyway. Is it worth selling JP to Gyökeres to get a third Arsenal? If it's for free and you can do it in one move, yes. If it's using loads of your transfers or you're having to take a hit, Liz, I probably wouldn't. But JP to Gyökeres, I think, is an upgrade. JM Racing says, chasing Captain Dewsbury Hall over Gabriel and Mateta. Chasing Captain Gabriel over Captain Dewsbury Hall over Gabriel, yes. Mateta to Gyökeres -4. I would prefer Mateta to Gyökeres -4 if you're going to captain Gyökeres, but you've just said you're captaining KDH. So I would still do it, but it would be better if it was to captain him, I think. Bruno Gabriel or Haaland cap? I think Gabriel. Thanks for the season, hanging on just inside 100k. Any recommendation for mindset/sports psychology resources for youth footballers? Oh, that's a good question. Can you send me an email? fplraptor@gmail.com, and I'll answer that properly. I can't answer that with a few minutes till the deadline, but I don't want to ignore it. So yeah, just send me an email if you want, and I'll get back to you. Elementary is kindergarten through 5th grade. Oh, middle school is 6th to 8th grade, and then high school is 9th to 12th. Oh, there we go. I didn't know any of that. Interesting. Rio starts. Does he? According to who? If he does, I'm going to bump him up to first sub. Don't even care. If we get confirmation, if you can give me the source, I'll bump him straight up to first sub. Dennis says, my 11 is Verbruggen, Saliba, O'Reilly, Van Hecke, Gabriel, Bruno Dango, Semenyo, Thiago, Haaland, Krupi. Bench of Roofs, Garner, Soboslai, VVD. Bench boost active, 0.5 in the bank, 1 free transfer. Thoughts? Do I do a -4 to get 3 Arsenal? Krupi. You've got 1 free transfer. I would say there's nothing massive to do with that, to be honest. I would probably just not make a transfer and leave it and play the bench boost as is. Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing massive that I can see as an upgrade there, Dennis, that's worth it, personally. You could take a -4, but I'm just not sure I'm feeling that, particularly. Engamoa starts, by the way. Who's leaked the Engamoa start? People are just saying Engamoa starts. James Wathland. Okay. Who's that? I've blocked that person. I mean, Rio probably does start, but I've blocked James Wathland, which means the only reason I block people is if they're abusive or they post fake team news. Yeah, I don't know. You got just over 2 minutes till the deadline. Just over 2 minutes. Same team as your old one. Verbruggen, Raya, and DCL Welbs. Should I just roll and get Njai for Rodgers and bench Welbs? I would honestly just bench Rodgers. I don't think getting Njai to bench Welbeck makes sense. I don't know. I would just be pretty happy to have Welbeck. Shall I move I could move Engamoa to first sub. Maybe I'll move him to second sub. Nah, I actually am not going to do that. Lacroix will probably get DEFCON. I don't know. I'll just leave it. Realistically, I'm probably not going to need more than one bench player anyway. You got just over 1 minute till the deadline, just over 1 minute. I will be carrying on streaming for a little bit after the deadline, so make sure to stay around for a little bit longer. Why is Engamoa in your team? So that I could fund buying Gyökeres. Bench O'Reilly or Van Hecke? That's very, very tough. I would probably bench Van Hecke, though, and start O'Reilly. O'Reilly's just so good if he starts. Make sure you get your teams locked in. Just over 30 seconds. Is Gabriel captain good? Yes. Rio is our only attacker that does anything. True, but he will get subbed early once again. He's not going to get DEFCON. He might get a return, but he might not get bonus. So I'm not too fussed. If he bangs, he bangs. I'll accept it. He's not like he's highly owned or anything. He's maybe I'll end up playing him in game week 38 potentially. Maybe I'll play him in game week 38 if he plays really well. Right, there we have it, ladies and gents. Only one more deadline now. Only one more deadline. Let me post my team. Ooh. Right. Game week 2017. What did I do? Rodgers. Rogers to Ngumoa. DCL. To Gyökeres. Right. Sorry, guys. Just doing my social post. I got distracted watching Spygate stuff and missed the deadline. Terrible. You can't be slacking like that. Hopefully Saka pops off for us. That'd be nice. Apparently I can't actually copy the text, which is nice on my phone. Oh my god, forgot to press bench boost. Have Tark on my bench, just done a -4. No, that's my mini league done. You can't be making mistakes like that. We'll have to bench boost in 38, you know? What are your thoughts on the Southampton Spygate? I honestly don't know enough about it to have an opinion. I've not really... I've seen like very small bits and pieces, but yeah. Always check you've played your chips. Exactly. Exactly. No way I didn't press bench boost either. Surely not, Cats. No. What do you mean? What is everyone doing? I say it. I've said it like twice on this stream as well. I say it every stream. This is terrible. Oh well. You have to play in 38 for those that didn't play it this week. In the UK, is there no middle school at all? No, middle school is like high school. So you go from primary school to secondary school. Primary school up to the age of like 10, 11. And then secondary school up to the age of like 15. Basically. Let us play some GeoGuessr. You know, the classic. Yeah, you can go that way, and you can go that way. Nice. What do you want to... What sort of GeoGuessr do you want me to do? Do you want to just watch me play? Talk through what I'm doing? Do you want to do a party? Do you want to do some challenges? Do you want me to do difficult maps? What would you like? You let me know. And we'll go from there. Places in Toronto. You'd be the pro. Party. Everyone wants to do a party. Okay, we'll do a party. Do you want to do moving or no move? or an MPZ. Right. There's gonna be a quick poll. Which mode for the GeoGuessr party? Moving, no move, NMPZ. There you go. Whilst I am waiting, if you don't know, if you're watching this, by the way, thinking what's happening, you'll see in a second what this is. But essentially, you're dropped in a random place in the world and you have to guess where you are. It's called GeoGuessr, the game. You might have seen it like previously a few years ago. I have a YouTube channel for GeoGuessr, which I've linked in the chat. So feel free to go and check that out. What's the plans for the weekend, Ross? Anything interesting? Yeah, I'm seeing my friends tomorrow, and then I'm going to Oxford for the day on Sunday. So. What day is the Eurovision on? Is it Saturday? Yeah, Saturday night. Awesome. Oh, sorry, I'm sniffling the whole time. Right, 10 more seconds, then we're going to start. Boycott Eurovision. Why are we boycotting Eurovision? Sorry for being ignorant. Can you wish my grandma a happy 80th birthday? She is with me right now. One sec, I'm going to go full screen. Happy 80th birthday, Grandma. We love you very much. You have done an amazing job, and you should be very proud. And I hope you have a fantastic birthday. Right. Are we ready? Let's do this. Start game. Right, are we good? Right, I've not even looked at the round. Where are we? I don't know. Probably looked more like... Maybe down here? Okay, it was northern. Fine. Yeah. Cool. Not my best guess. Poland's very difficult to region guess, to be honest. Cool. I actually rate the Eswatini guess there, Sim. I don't mind it. We were just driving on the other side of the road, so. I'm gonna guess here, but I do worry that it could be like south near Mombasa. Okay, it was just outside of Nairobi. That's okay. I should have stayed where I was. I was guessing like right in and around here. I tell you what, probably an extremely similar place in Kenya. I'm just going to go right in and around there again. Truly. Like maybe Nakuru, just outside of Nakuru. Outskirts of Nakuru there. I mean, it's just outskirts of Nairobi, but yeah, very similar kind of round. Fine. Just back-to-back Kenyas. It's that 3 Africa round, isn't it? Wow. This is not Africa. We all know that. I can't tell if this is Germany or just a German-speaking country. So for that reason, we'll kind of go like there. Oh, wow. Northern Germany. That's a bit painful. Someone's guessed in Copenhagen and got close. That's outrageous. Fair. Yeah, it was German, but I was worried that it could be like a little bit of German-speaking Austria or something like that. What draws you to Kenya over somewhere like Uganda? It was the car. There was that specific car you only get in Kenya, not Uganda. I actually wonder if this is mainland Greece. I don't even mind that up here near Tessalin. Hey, that was a nice region guess. We got closest. It looked a little bit more like northern Greece. I don't know how to explain it. Almost looked a bit like Bulgaria, which is why I went up towards Tesnaliki, and then it was. So that was nice. Oh, I've got no idea. This could be Canada, US. I'm going to go like Tennessee, Kentucky. I'm not. Yeah, like there. It could be much further north also. Okay, Mississippi. I'll take that. I'll take that, honestly. Those random US rounds, I think, are so difficult to try and work out where you are. When it's got like nothing to go off. Probably like that marker here. This could be anywhere in Brazil. I've got no idea. Brazil's such a hard place to region guess. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. In Minas Gerais, you get what you would call like rolling hills. You know those hills in the distance where it's not like big peaks and stuff. It's like the hills are like rolling like that. Minas Gerais, you get a lot of that. And you also get a ton of red dirt in Sao Paulo. So it being between Sao Paulo and Minas Gerais is kind of about right for what we saw there on the round. Can't quite see what that says. Oh boy, this could be bad. This could be very bad. Maybe Queensland? Am I throwing? I think I'm throwing. I don't know where we are now, Australia. It was further north. We were in Queensland, though. I've managed to get closest somehow. We're in Jared Bowen. It's Jared Bowen on the map. Did you see that? Nice. It looked a bit Queenslandy last second, but I just couldn't commit that far north, you know. Oh, I can't quite see what that says. doesn't say Kilkenny, does it? It says Killarney. 27 to Killarney is to our northwest. Okay, it was to our south. Fine. It was Killarney on the map then. It was so blurry. Guys, listen. You know, we can't all be fantastic, you know? It's just one of those things. You know? Dang, I got 8th and I don't even play. Fair play. Fair play. Fair play to everyone else, by the way. Some really good scores in here. It's, oh, the lineups are out. Let me check the lineups. Rio does start. Verts and Salah on the bench. What else do we want to check? Villa. Rodgers and Watkins both start. I got 4th, went Taz on Queensland. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. How do you differentiate between Australia and New Zealand? The bollards are different in the two. I'll play a couple more just like playing for the sake of playing, you know? Bridge like that. Is it like East Coast somewhere? Massive bridge. I feel like if you had the time, it would be findable, but I don't even definitely know that this is East Coast in all honesty, so... I reckon it is somewhere over here, would be my guess. Could it even be further south? Maybe, but I didn't... No, I actually think if anything slightly further north. I think like could even be like up here. I was looking for a big bridge. I've been there. Fair play, you would nail this round then if you've been here. I don't know. My guess would be like it could even be like right up here. I don't know. My guess is like somewhere around here. Okay, it wasn't. It was Michigan. Oh, it was Lake Michigan. Well, like not actually. Well, does that technically count as Lake Michigan? Interesting. I didn't vibe it being there. I thought it was East Coast, but that's okay. Difficult round, I'd say. This should be Poland, I think. Maybe not actually. Maybe more of a. Where is this? Is this actually Romania? Or Hungary? I don't know. The polls are a bit confusing. Could be Hungary, actually. Although the that just looks like Romania. Southwest Mountains. Maybe somewhere up there? Yeah, okay. Romanian polls have white at the bottom. Often they do, but not only. So I wouldn't like rule out Romania if it doesn't have that. Doesn't say anything, does it? St. Mary Intracoastal Gateway. Be good if I knew what that was. What polls do we have? Polls aren't overly useful. Do I have any more info? I mean, should I know? Do we have front place? Should I know where that is? The St. Mary Intracoastal Gateway. I mean, I can look for it on the map, but we definitely fly. Is there any chance it's... We don't have front plates, but yeah. just don't care that much, to be honest. Where's the water? The water's to our south. Could it be Florida Keys? I suppose it could be the Florida Keys, couldn't it? Maybe. That's just a lake, though, isn't it? That's not actually... That's not the coast. We're looking over a small lake, basically, with a pier. I'm going to go, like... I'm going to go around here. Okay, it was much further north. We're actually looking over a river. Okay, fine. Yeah, sure. That was Georgia. Was it? Was that actually in Georgia technically? Oh, interesting. Is this Slovakia or is this Ukraine? I think it's just Ukraine. I don't know. Okay, that's the other side of Ukraine. Fine. Whatever. What an interesting round this is. Wow. Not often I'll be struggling, but this is a very random round. Is it ever quite far out here? Do we have any, like... I mean, it looks like Yakutsk. I don't think it is, but it looks so gold. This is a really weird round. Do I have anything? I think this is Russia. But the issue is just like, where in this massive place? It's so urban. I'm gonna go Irkutsk. Outskirts of Irkutsk. Don't know. Yeah, it was Russia, but it was the other side of Russia. Voronezh. Okay, yeah, maybe could have got that. That was tough. We'll do one more. No, I don't want to play Russian GeoGuessr. Can we not? What is this going to be? I could maybe do a slightly better job here, to be fair. How far could this even be, like towards Omsk, Novosibirsk, Chelyabinsk? Could be over here somewhere. I don't know. It's somewhere along, like somewhere between Kazan and Novosibirsk. I would be surprised if it's not somewhere here, but I don't know where. It's actually just outside of that line, but yeah. Okay. Can I please just play somewhere that's not Russia? Okay. Have anything else to go off? Okay. So here's a fun fact for you if you're struggling. You see this ends in TIE. That's a super Finnish thing to do. So we're probably in southern Finland. I say southern just because it looks pretty lush, although I suppose this could actually be a bit further north. Now that I look around a little bit more. But yeah, with this TIE ending, should be Finland. Yeah, it means road in Finnish. You've also got Finnish bollards here, which is cool. But maybe slightly further north, like there. Oh, it was really far south. Okay. Yeah, this is the UK. That looks a little bit more southern, if anything. I don't know. Something about that just looked like. Could even see this being there, down like here, maybe. That was very far south. Wow, okay. It's actually the Isle of Wight. Cool. Oh, this is Senegal. Slap it in Senegal. There's a Senegal flag. I mean, there's literally no point trying to line up anything interesting in Senegal. But could this actually be south of the Gambia? This could be south of the Gambia, but I'm going to guess north. But don't know. Cool. Yeah, so this is Mexico. The way you know this is Mexico, if you're interested, is there's an octagonal pole. It might say Mex on it, to be fair. Yeah, there you go, Mexico. They often say Mexico on them. Where in Mexico is this? This is probably... It's probably one of these two coasts. It's probably either like this coast here. Got North and South Mountains is interesting. Or maybe even like over here. Could be even further south, in all fairness. Maybe even, yeah, I don't mind that as like a little cheeky guess. Somewhere around here. That was that. Okay, a little bit further north. In Mexico. Right, one more for the fun. We'll go quick. This is Russia again, and I just don't care for it. This one I do feel like is probably more likely to just be over here. No, I just don't know how you're supposed to know that without knowing all of the different cars. Ooh. Slightly more difficult round. Should be an octagonal pole there. Massive cacti. This is probably like... Could even be like Baja or Sonora. I don't mind a Sonora here. Let's just go for Sonora. Whoa. That is an obscene amount of those specific cactus to be that far south. I would never have in a million years gone that far south. Boabuata National Park. Do you know what? We have to be able to 5k this, surely. Let's... Where is... Boabuata National Park? Did you study geography? No, I actually studied history instead. I don't know what it's like now and what it used to be like, but they made you choose between history and geography, basically, and you had to do one. So no, I didn't study geography. If geography was just actually like maps and stuff like that, then I would have loved it. But where do I think we are? Where does this look like? Probably looks more south. Why is it not popping up though? Right, there's a park of some kind there. It's not that, it's not that. It's not that. Maybe it's a really small one. Just not seeing it pop up, which is really annoying. Is it possibly right up here? No. That's a shame. Are you going to create a party? We did a party already. I was just playing a few extra games, to be honest. But, I don't know. I don't know why this park's not popping up. Fine. See if I care. Dean and I sat watching TV and have no clue. That road works out quite nicely. Any other roads that line up? I don't know. This is really annoying because it should be pretty easy to do this. I'm pretty sure we are in Namibia, but I don't know where. I was up there. How much do you have to zoom in to see the park name? I still can't see the park name there, so I was never finding it. Okay, the wrong side of Namibia completely, which is a shame. This should be Sweden? Yeah, I want to say Sweden. Where in Sweden? You tell me. If it even is Sweden. I would say quite far south again. Okay, that was a nice guess. It was southern Sweden. Oh, this is a fun one. These are, you got a Danish bollard here, which has a yellow reflector and an orange wraparound, but also these signs that are wrapped with like metal the whole way around. That is, that's Danish. So yeah, these Danish bollards, and then you got the Danish sign. You've also got the Danish word. I think VG is street or road. Vej. Where? It feels like it could be one of the islands for sure. I'll go like there. Okay, it was. Yeah. Okay, nice. That was a good region guess, actually. It felt a little bit more like this area. The architecture just looks marginally different, basically. But apart from the big Russia mishap and the Namibia one, it wasn't too bad. Anyway, I will stop boring you guys, and I'm sure you got a lot to do and crack on with your evenings. Thank you for being here for the penultimate stream of the season. I will see you hopefully next week for Game Week 38. Fingers crossed we get some green arrows. Hopefully Saka bangs in some goals. And yeah, thank you for all of the support, and I'll catch you soon. Bye, guys.